Hi, my name is Natasha, and this is my personal reflection video for GRI 201 with Professor Likes. So, I was born in 1995. I'm currently 20 years old, and I identify as a white bisexual female. As far as everything else, my life has been pretty easy except when it comes to my sexual orientation. Being white has provided me with a privilege that I never really knew about until we started learning about it in Jody's class. Being white is pretty obvious. When I was younger, I wanted to reach back into my roots and my family history and embrace something other than the ambiguous white race. I remember doing a project in junior high that required you to trace back your roots and find out where your ancestors came from, and I found out that a majority of my ancestors are Swedish, and at the time I was thrilled to learn this because I wasn't just white anymore. I was Swedish, and I just embraced having some I guess this label, even though my family doesn't uphold any Swedish traditions or values. It was just nice to have. And I remember my mom sitting me down explaining to me that I'm not Swedish, I'm American, because our family just rejects that label, and we haven't embraced it for years, for generations, ever since my great-great-grandma. But I hope one day to learn a little bit more and maybe figure that out. As far as being bisexual, I didn't really discover that until I was in high school. As a younger child, throughout elementary and junior high, I always knew I kind of liked girls, but I kind of ignored it. And it was really frustrating at the time. I kind of always hated myself for liking girls. I never really understood it. I knew I was supposed to like boys. In high school, I finally realized it, and it was very convenient for me because at the same time, me realizing that I was bisexual, one of my cousins, he was about 3 or 4 years older than me, he came out as bisexual to my family, and me personally, I was like, oh my god, this is so great. I'm not alone in this. Somebody I personally know is going through the same thing that I'm going through. But it turned around really quickly. Like, my emotions towards it turned around really quickly. Because my family rejected him and shunned him and started making fun of him just for being bisexual. And at the time, he just had a daughter, and he had a girlfriend, and he was happy, but when he came out, he lost his family because his girlfriend didn't enjoy the idea of having a bisexual male partner, and she took his daughter away, and they went to New York. He still lives here in Reno, and I talk to him every now and then, but it's hard because not only did he lose his family that he was growing himself, he lost the support from his from the family that he came from. And it's just really frustrating, and it's hurtful because they do it so much. They talk about him so much. They can't have a normal conversation with him without them bringing up the fact that he's bisexual. For Christmas, my grandmother, every year, she always buys us pajamas, socks, the traditional grandma presents that everybody gets around Christmas. And she thought it would be really funny to buy him a bunch of gay porn and sex toys. And that really hurt me because, we all opened our presents together. And, here I am, secretly, I'm all oh my god, she's gonna do the same thing if I ever come out. And it just hurts. It hurts really bad. But, you know, I guess it's just the way they are. He's doing alright right now, and I haven't come out to my family, and I don't honestly think I ever will. But when I came to this class, you know, I don't let anybody know about my sexual orientation unless they directly ask me about it. And even then, I'm still cautious. I have to get to know you first before I let anybody know. So when I came to this class, I felt really comfortable because, you know, I guess I was around people who kind of understood what I was going through and who had already been through everything. And it's just nice having people to talk to about it. It took me a while to really embrace this class. Like, when I first started coming, I was really nervous, and then as we started learning things about the oppressions that other races went through in America, I just became really angry, and I became a little self-loathing because, like, it's white people who are the main cause for a lot of racism and prejudices. And it just hurts because, you know, like, it's who you are, it's where you came from. Like, before I came to this class, I was so proud to call myself American, and, you know, I wasn't really aware of all the racist institutions and all the racism occurring all over the country. And this class really opened my eyes to a lot of that. And I'm really grateful for that. You know, when I first came to class, I thought I was pretty open-minded, but it made me realize I do withhold a lot of prejudices myself. But this class has helped me identify a lot of them, and I'm working on changing them. And I really hope it goes that way for everybody else in the class. One of the things that really opened my eyes was how much of the oppression throughout America's history that I never learned. Like how indigenous peoples were treated and slaughtered by the millions, and just how our government now treats them. You know, we just kind of quarter them off into reservations, and we provide them, or our government provides them with some funding, but it's not enough to provide for everybody. And, like, you know, like, I grew up on a reservation, but apparently it was a very nice one, which was really ironic because when I used to visit my friend on the reservation, I always thought, wow, I'm like, all these houses are really old and they're, like, kind of gross. But then I started looking into a lot of other reservations. I think it's the Navajo reservations in Arizona, I believe. And, like, most of their houses don't even have electricity or running water. Like, that's insane. And it's really frustrating because, like, my best friend, my boyfriend, they're Native American, and, you know, I've grew up with this culture, like, and it's just kind of like, you know, I really embraced all the Native American culture locally, and just to find out that people of similar backgrounds were being treated this way is upsetting. And then when we started learning about Chicanos and immigration and how hard it is for them to become U.S. citizens, that also infuriated me because another friend of mine, she's illegal. She's an illegal Mexican. I remember she used to tell me stories early in high school about how her family came to America and how she was smuggled over the border in the back of a truck. And, like, I thought that was crazy because she was still young when it happened. And I always told her, and I'm all like, why don't you just go down to, like, the citizenship place and like just pay your fees and become a U.S. citizen. Isn't that how it works? Like, you just give them some money and then like they pledge you in and that's it. But like I never really had the background knowledge on how that worked, and now I realize how offensive that was. But yeah, just all the stuff they have to go through, and they have to jump through hoops just to become a citizen. And you know, even though they've been here for most of their life and they don't know anything of their past life, it's just all part of like systematic oppression, you know. Oh, thank you. And it's just terrible. But, you know, I'm really glad that this class really opened my eyes to a lot of it, because now I can start helping educate others on all these issues. I can start learning more about these issues, and I think we can all start taking steps towards resolving them. And, you know, I'm just really grateful for this class. I think everybody should be required to take it, at least an introductory course on these issues, and it's amazing. So thank you, Jody. I really appreciate it. It was a pleasure being in your class. Bye.